farther south, but that would be pretty much it. And that's just with some of this moisture starting to pile in out ahead of tomorrow. But skies like what you see from Edgewater Beach, that's going to be pretty common for us. Lots of sunshine, just a couple of those high level clouds trying to drift through today, and really a very pleasant pattern unfolding before us for at least the next 24 hours before we have to talk about that chance for some rain and potentially a couple thunderstorms in the mix tomorrow as the cold front rolls through. So it does bring us some bigger changes just in time for the weekend, but they're pretty palatable changes. It's not going to be this drastic change in an air mass where we're talking about temperatures falling back into the 40s. It's at least going to be into the 50s, and we're going to work in a little bit more of that sunshine as well. So it'll be pretty easy to take despite things being a little cooler than where we are right now. Right now, temperatures are sitting about into the, I would say, low to mid 60s in a lot of spots. We've got a couple locations that are starting to check in near 67 degrees. So thanks to all that sunshine, we're seeing that temperature rebound very quickly this morning. Doppler radar is quiet. You just see a couple of those high level clouds starting to drift in from the west. And so you may notice that as we go through the course of today. But again, we're not tracking a huge opportunity for rain for us. This is really going to be your big outlook as we go through the rest of this morning, get into the early part of the afternoon with temperatures rebounding back near 80 degrees later today. We'll talk about how cold it will get by the weekend with that next cold front coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, really nice morning out there, and we're going to have a great afternoon. What's up next? Well, that might not be as great, but
yeah, tomorrow may be a little bit more cumbersome, especially if you're trying to go to the Guardians game against the Red Sox. We'll see if they end up getting that game in completion, because we're going to be tracking some rain and storms moving back into the area. Too bad the game's not today, because today is picture perfect weather out there. We've got a lot of sunshine, temperatures that are going to be warming back into the upper 70s to lower 80s. But once that cold front rolls through tomorrow, well, then we get a little bit of a reset to our pattern by the weekend, and it will feature a little bit more wind as well as we work in some of that cooler air into northeast Ohio. You look at the difference in downtown versus Hopkins, and it is definitely noticeable. That is all thanks to the lake breeze that's starting to work in off of Lake Erie. So you're pulling in some of that cooler air, keeping those lakeshore communities more so into the lower 60s. We may be able to get close to 70 degrees today, but if you are south of the lakeshore, this is where your temperature is really going to have the best opportunity to warm up fast, thanks to all of that sunshine we have out there. So over the next couple of hours, expect daytime highs to continue to warm, upper 70s, low to mid 80s. Just kind of depends on where you're at here across northeast Ohio. If you are near the lakeshore, that's where you're likely going to stay just a little bit cooler. But everywhere else, I don't see an issue with temperatures warming significantly as we go through the rest of the day today. Now, good news for us is that the forecast looks pretty dry. So if you're trying to spend some time outside, maybe you're headed into downtown Cleveland later tonight for the Monsters game as they take on the Marlies at 7 o'clock. Temperatures are looking pretty nice if you're going to be walking downtown. And I really don't see a huge drop in that temperature, even as we go through the later parts of this evening. A lot of that has to do with us building in some of this moisture. And you can see that with a little bit more of that southerly wind. You get a couple more clouds that develop during the later part of today as that heat continues to build in. And we may get a stray shower or two south of the lakeshore today. But largely the rain's not going to be a big issue for us headed into tonight. Where I think you're going to run into a few more opportunities to see some of that rain will actually be tomorrow morning. You'll notice temperatures very mild to get tomorrow morning started. A lot of us upper 50s to about low 60s. You get a couple of those showers working in. This is all out ahead of that cold front. But the fact that you have rain around and you have a little bit more of that cloud cover in place, it is going to limit how much that temperature can warm up through the day tomorrow. So that's why you'll notice temperatures tomorrow afternoon at best about lower 70s. Then we get into tomorrow evening, and here comes the cold front. So out ahead of that, you have enough moisture, you have enough what we call heat and fuel to get some of those showers and storms going, though I don't think we're going to have a huge issue with severe weather. Setup just doesn't look overly conducive, but I would keep some of that rain gear around because I don't think we're really going to see that rain clear out of here across the area until we get into early on your Saturday. Then by that point, it's just waiting on that cloud cover to clear. And that may take a little bit of time, especially with some of that cooler air that we're going to have in place to get the weekend started. So while we deal with a little bit more of that cloud cover through the day on Saturday, you wait until Sunday. It's full on sunshine. Temperatures, much different story. We're going to warm from the lower 50s Saturday back into the lower 60s on Sunday. And that's just the start of this warming trend that we'll notice that takes us into the early part of this next week. Right now, eyes though are on Tuesday. Chance that we could see some storms working back in. couple could be on the stronger to severe side, so that is something the team will monitor over the next several days.